Hercule Poirot. Was that good? Hercule Poirot. Poirot? Is that right? Am I doing it right? I'm trying. I really am. Hercule Poirot. It's improving. What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. The sequel to Murder on the Orient Express, directed by and starring Kenneth Branagh. I saw Death on the Nile. Is this movie worth a watch? Let's talk about it. While on vacation on the Nile, Detective Poirot must investigate the murder of a young heiress. My goodness, this cast, Russell Brand, Annette Bening, of course Branagh, Tom Bateman, who I think is like such a good choice for the Joker. My girl Maeve from Sex Education, Wonder Woman herself. It's a great cast, as was Murder on the Orient Express, a movie that I thought was okay. It's a nice detective story, but it's one that's done in such a way to where I can look at it and say, if you would have made improvements here, here, and here, it could have turned out to be a better experience as a whole. Funny enough, I feel the exact same way about Death on the Nile. This movie is actually really fun at times, and that's exactly what you want with a murder mystery. You are with our detective every single step of the way, and it's funny because I didn't do this with Murder on the Orient Express as much as I did here, right? Every time he looks at something or speculates upon a theory, I'm trying to pay attention to what exactly he's seeing so I can process that and find the killer myself before our detective does. Now, there is a little bit of predictability when it comes to finding that killer. We'll get into that here in just a second. But overall, I think the murder mystery itself, just the journey to get from point A to B to C, was genuinely fun. And under Branagh's direction, bringing us excellent cinematography, beautiful color grading all throughout the film. There were some very green screeny moments when they first get to Egypt. It's very obvious. But you know what? I've seen way worse, and it didn't take away anything from this movie. Just something that I noticed. And then we get into what this mystery actually is around an hour and 20 minutes into the film. You heard me correctly, an hour and 20 minutes. The first hour or so is pure nothing but buildup. And I'm talking at times unnecessary buildup. I understand it's trying to plant seeds all throughout that first hour as to who each person is, what the relationship status is at the start, even though that inevitably leads me to come up with the correct prediction on my own, so in that sense the movie's kind of predictable. But hey, as long as the journey's fun, right? We start out with this kind of three-way relationship between Simon, Lynette, and Jacqueline, and the hostility behind one individual's actions and how that leads our detective to come into the picture. So of course, he's not there originally investigating the murder. It just so happens, just like on the Orient Express, that he's there when the murder goes down. Why they would bring him in just to do that? Well, I don't know, because he's really good at what he does. And Kenneth Branagh is really good at what he does. He is the heart and soul and shining beacon of this film. The first thing we get is a bit of backstory on his character. Now, I mentioned earlier, the first hour, there's so much we could have trimmed out to get to the point. Shrink that hour to 30 minutes, and I think you've got yourself a much tighter, more interesting script. We didn't need every little detail with every family member. As much as I love Tom Bateman, there was a lot of time spent with that side of the story, and there are also numerous scenes at this wedding where I thought that could have tightened up just a little bit. It just feels like everywhere we went, there was too much happening, and I was sitting there thinking for so long, when are we going to get to the actual murder mystery? Because that's what I'm here for. I can't sit here and wait too much longer because I'm really losing interest because I'm getting so antsy to get to the actual murder mystery. And I will be completely honest with you guys. I was very tired going into this movie. I may or may not have nodded off for a minute or two. Just for a minute or two, right? It's something I try not to do, but it just kept going and going and going. That being said, once we get to the madness and we get to see our detective in action, that's when the movie started working well for me. The only downside I have to that is that I predicted who it was prior to getting that reveal. Now, not everyone's going to be in that boat, and I'll be frank with you, I'm not normally good at stuff like that. So the fact that I was able to decipher this on my own kind of tells me there's a little too much predictability there. That being said, I'm not going to complain about that because it never took away from my enjoyment of the mystery itself. Really, the last 35, 40 minutes of the movie it was fun. And that's what's leading me to go in more of a positive direction with this film. Once he was able to kind of muddle through all the things that we had to get out of the way, I guess, at the beginning, then he was able to flex his chops. And I think the mystery portion of this film is stronger than the mystery portion of Murder on the Orient Express. I think that movie's just a bit tighter, but I was enjoying this one more so when it was all going down in the boat setting. That was pretty fun. Before I give you guys my score, have you ever witnessed a death on the Nile? That's my question. Leave your comment. Hey, and if you want to support this channel, be sure to smash the smash it. That's what people always say, right? Smash that thumbs up button. Death on the Nile, again, proves that Kenneth Branagh is the perfect Poirot. And I had some people tell me on Twitter, like, but Austin, he's just doing a shtick that someone else has already done better. I've never seen that. This is the version I've seen. This is the version I like. That's how I feel. And the rest of the cast is solid. Unfortunately, the film struggles to gain any sort of momentum, and the story is nowhere near as compelling as it needs to be at first. But it does pick up. Eventually, my score is a 60%. This is one that is fun, takes a bit to get there, but once it gets there, I think there's definite enjoyment to be had. And with a cast like this, how could you not find something to gravitate towards it? Who doesn't love a good murder mystery? All right, guys, thanks again for joining me. More reviews to come, man. I am tired. 3 reviews today, but 3 tomorrow? Boy, I'm sleepy.